Retail trade has crashed. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here with my evening Stein, and I thought we'd have a look at the latest retail sales or retail trade figures from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, because they're not looking too good. They've dropped a fair bit. If we jump here to this chart from Trading Economics, you can see here it's dropped 0.5% after shooting up 1%. So we seem to be hearing every day about more victims of the retail recession. Businesses shutting down, big brand names, smaller brand names, all around the country. But remember when we got this 1% figure that it was turning around, some people were worried that it was spending that was pulled forward. People were taking advantage of Cyber Monday and Black Friday to make their purchases, to buy Christmas presents perhaps early. It looks like this is exactly what has happened. And let's have a look at what the ABS has said from this media release. And I wonder if the Reserve Bank will take this into account in next month's cash rate assessment. So Australian retail turnover fell 0.5% in December 2019, seasonally adjusted, according to the latest Australian Bureau of Statistics retail trade figures. Now, guys, the reason why retail is so important, it's such a big employer in the country. 10% of the workforce, not 10% of the population, but 10% of the people working are employed in the retail sector. So it's a big part of it. It's important. This follows a rise of 1% in November 2019. The December fall comes after a strong November, led by Black Friday sales, said Ben James, Director of Quarterly Economy-Wide Surveys. There were also some effects from bushfires and associated smoke haze apparent in the New South Wales data. Specifically, food retailing and cafes, restaurants and takeaway food services were negatively impacted. Now, if you watched my last video, I drove out to the Scenic Rim, for a job visit and some scanning. And one thing I noticed actually is quite nice. It was all beautifully lush and green because of the rain we just had. Normally when you go out there, these last few months, everything was dead, but it comes back so quick. But driving back, I was listening to the radio and they were talking about all of the Asian restaurants here in Sunnybank, which are having to shut down essentially, or people are cancelling their orders because of the fear, the virus fear. How many people are not going out anymore? How many people are concerned because they're hearing it in the news, even if it's unwarranted? They're just going to not risk it. Not risk it. I can't say I'm frequenting the restaurants here all that often, frankly, probably because I can't eat a lot of it. It's all the vegetable oils that they cook in takeaway places. Now that I've gone carnivore, I'm trying to avoid all that stuff. And if you've never looked into how they actually make that stuff, all the vegetable oils, I know it's completely off topic, but that's just my style. I suggest you have a look at it because it's not natural. So there were falls for department stores of negative 2.8, cafes, restaurants, takeaway, food services of 0.9, clothing, footwear and personal accessories of 1.5, food retailing of 0.3, and household goods retailing of 0.3. Those falls were partially offset by a rise in other retailing of 0.2. Could you say that's partially offset? It doesn't look like it, unless the other retailing is much bigger than these sectors, which doesn't sound like it. In seasonally adjusted terms, there were falls in New South Wales, fall of 1.2%, Queensland of 0.5%, South Australia of 1.3%, Northern Territory of 0.4%, and the ACT of 0.1%. Victoria and WA were both at 0%. Tasmania rose by 1.1%, seasonally adjusted terms in December. Oh, there you go. So all the Tassie viewers, what's going on there, guys? What's happening? Or is it just Tassie's crashed so much prior? The trend estimate for Australian retail turnover rose 0.3% in December 2019, following a 0.3% rise in December compared to December 2018. The trend estimate rose 2.8%. Online retail turnover contributed 6.6% to total retail turnover in original terms in December 2019. In December 2018, online retail turnover contributed 5.6% to total retail. And this is an interesting thing. So retail is, well, it's increasing. It's becoming more and more. I just learned that if I make a business-to-business software transaction using online retail, so say I hire my Autodesk software for my recap, my scanning software. Now, if I were to do that just under my personal name, not under my ABN, not through the Heise Architecture business, I'd be paying GST. But because it's business to business now, I don't need to pay GST. It's not counted, even though Autodesk makes a whole lot of money. And, I know I'll get the credits back, but I would rather not have to, I'd rather not worry about it. Not pay the GST. It's better for cash flow. Just something to consider. I only realized that recently. So that will incentivize, if I have an option to buy software locally or to buy it online, even if I'm renting it, and avoid the GST, what do you think I'll do? I'll want to avoid the GST completely legally. Better for cash flow. What do you think other businesses will do? So, quarterly volumes rise 0.5%. For the December quarter 2019, there was a rise of 0.5% in seasonally adjusted volume terms. This follows a fall of 0.1% in the September quarter 2019. The quarterly rise in volumes was led by household goods retailing, clothing, footwear and personal accessories, department stores, and cafes, restaurants, and takeaway food services. The rises were slightly offset by seasonally adjusted volume falls in food retailing and other retailing. More detailed analysis you can get there. So let's have a look here at the analysis. So we'll look at the total retailing monthly. Hang on, I'll make sure you can see that. The chart below shows the trend series and seasonally adjusted series for December 2019. So here's the trend. Still, retail turnover is trending up. Seasonally adjusted, it's spiked up and gone back down. So we can see from this chart that November just dragged sales from December back earlier into the year. What's going to happen in January, guys? What's going to happen in January? I mean, I'll bring up here, this is the latest consumer sentiment index. You can see here that below 100, more people are pessimistic. Above 100, more people are optimistic. So if more people are pessimistic, are more people going to go out there and spend? Are they going to go crazy? Or are they going to be a bit more frugal? Are they going to spend? I had to. On the drive back, I had to stop at Macca's and get a Macca's coffee. I couldn't find a 7-Eleven. I was too far out from the city. Otherwise, I wouldn't. I would have saved. Would have, driven an extra 5 minutes and spent probably more on fuel just to save that money. So in current prices, the trend estimate for Australian turnover rose 0.3% in December. This follows a rise of 0.3% in 2019 and a rise of 0.3% in October 2019. Seasonally adjusted estimates for Australian turnover fell 0.5% in December 2019, following a rise of 1% in November and 0.1% in October. So yes, this November has really just sucked up future spending. What about Afterpay? What about all these people using Afterpay in these services? That's just future spending as well brought forward? So, the original estimate for Australian turnover rose 19.2% in December 2019. The original estimate for chains and other large retailers rose 21.9% in December 2019. The original estimate for small retailers rose 12.4% in December 2019. So, total retail quarterly. In volume terms, the seasonally adjusted estimate for December quarter 2019 rose 0.5%. We'll go. Let's have a look at states. We'll jump down here. So if the following states rose in trend terms: Queensland, Victoria, Western Australia, New South Wales, Tasmania, ACT, South Australia, and Northern Territory. That's in just trend terms. Now, when they seasonally adjust the data to take account of Christmas, because the following states and territories fell in seasonally adjusted terms in December: New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Northern Territory, the ACT, and Victoria. You can see this here, seasonally adjusted. Look at that. Look at South Australia, guys. 1.3%. 1.3%. And we have here by industry. So, and we'll just read the summary here. So food retailing rose 0.2, seasonally adjusted fell 0.3. Household goods rose 0.4 in trend, seasonally adjusted fell 0.3. Personal accessories trend rose 0.4 in December, seasonally adjusted fell 1.5%. Look at that. And what's personal accessories? Footwear. That's presents, isn't it? Department stores. Trend up 5. Seasonally adjusted estimate fell 5.6%. And current prices, the trend estimate for other retailing was relatively unchanged at 0%. The seasonally adjusted estimate rose 0.2. Cafes, restaurants and takeaways rose 0.2 in trend in December. Seasonally adjusted fell 0.9. So guys, I mean, look at that. That department stores is terrible. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone who's watching my content, or all the people who are sending me examples of businesses that are in trouble. What do you all think? Where do you think this will end? Do you think if this data had have come out earlier, it would have influenced the RBA's cash rate decision? Do you think I'll be interested to see what job adverts are and what the unemployment rate. This chart is showing you how job adverts fell. And with these charts, I usually have the latest data that I get. Someone mentioned that I show the charts too fast. It's often because I've referred to them in a previous video when we go through the data every time it updates. So I will try and explain it a bit more just to, to let people understand. So here we have, unemployment rate. And this is from the ABS, which was good. It was gone down. But the Roy Morgan data, their unemployment has gone up. So what will we see next month? And how will this affect the cash rate, the economy, and consumer and business confidence? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help spread the word. If you're a fan and want to really help that little bit extra, there are a few ways you can support the channel. We have a Patreon where you can choose to make a small monthly donation. You can join the channel here on YouTube, where you can make, again, a small donation, but you get access to badges and emojis. We also have affiliate links for Amazon for your consumer purchases, and eBay, where we receive an advertiser's fee. I noticed someone's stocking up on a whole lot of 4K Blu-ray DVDs, which frankly is probably smart because they're going to edit all the online streaming stuff. Haven't you heard about that, where they go in and remove scenes and change stuff? We also have an affiliate link with Independent Reserve, so if you're a crypto trader, we will receive a share of the trading fees. So all of these methods don't cost you a cent, and if you're going to spend the money anyway, it's a great way to help out your content creators. If there's another content creator you're a fan of, tell them to look in those options. Finally, we sell pocket squares on the HeiseSays website. Check out the link below. Handmade here in Queensland, the other side of this very house, and also PayPal if you want to contribute that way. Thank you all very much for your help and support. Helps me buy equipment to help make videos. Next on, I just bought a little action camera and some lapel microphones. Next is to try and upgrade. It's either my lighting, I need to get another light, or the camera that I use to film with. It seems to be stuttering. I suspect it's either to do with the heat or something going on. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great night, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.